shall we say, Peter Ob's outing yesterday, because it's in the nature, I don't know what else to call it, of a gang-up. He's joined forces with the second place contestant in the presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, even though initially when Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar was going to go to court, I think he had invited both him and Kwakwanzo to come on board with him, but Peter Obi of the Labour Party had said it wasn't going to be a party. It looks as if things have changed a bit. But back to the, I don't know, as I said, Peter Moka described it, Peter Moka is the National Publicity Secretary of APC. He described it as drivel, because people are still trying to find out what exactly was all of that about. And as I introduced earlier, our guest Kassim Afegbua, thank you very much for coming on once again. What do you make, Kassim, of the outing of Labour Party's losing candidate, Peter Gregory Obi?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction. I think, Yori, don't blame these guys. They are sore losers. You don't flog a child and you expect that child not to cry. And in the process of crying, it's going to be murmuring and saying all manners of things just to convey his own pains. And that's exactly what is happening. Whether you call him Atiku Abubakar, you call him Gregory Obi and what have you, it's just unfortunate that they have not been able to swallow their pride and own up to the defeat of February 25th, 2023. It's very obvious that now they are no longer talking about, I won the election, I won the election. They are now going after Tinubu with issue of qualification to stand election or no qualification. They want people to believe their own narrative. But the narrative on the other side, they don't want anyone to believe. And you see, for Peter Obi not even recognizing that we have a president, it's quite unfortunate. The mere fact that he was able to conduct a press conference without people beating him up shows that there's a government in place that enforces rule of law. There's a government in place that ensures that there's protection to life and property. That means there's a government and there's a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. You know, when they behave so petty in this manner, what I just do is to laugh at them. Because in any election, any electoral contest, only a winner is expected to emerge. No matter how painful your defeat is, you have to behave like a sportsman. Swallow your pride and own up. It's about the country. What do you have to put on the table? What do you have to assist the government of the day to add value, you know, to our collective aspirations, our yearnings, you know? People keep talking about Nigeria in such a negative term. No, I would pride Nigeria as one of the best places I can live. Because when you travel out of this country, you are just like a fish out of water. That's the truth. A lot of things we do and get away with here, it doesn't happen elsewhere. And when you want to enforce that kind of discipline, the same people will still call you names. The former Governor Wike, a minister for FCT, is trying to fix Abuja. Go and look, go to the internet and see criticism and all of that. He's chasing away those who are inhabiting shanties across in FCT, and they are abusing hell out of him. He wants to breathe sanity into the system, but people wouldn't want to listen. We want discipline, but we don't behave as disciplined people. And so, for a man who contested as presidential candidate of Labour Party and wants Nigerians to accord him that recognition as a candidate who wanted to preside over Nigerians, for him to even be undermining the government of the day is quite unfortunate. That is the more reason why he cannot smell as a rock.
You know, as you say, Kassim, for a man who would be our president to be behaving in this manner, by which I mean, how ethical is it? Only the other day I referred to him and Adamawa Waziri Adamawa as a statesman. Somebody called in and objected quite vigorously to that particular characterization. But for a man who would be president to now be behaving in this manner, the matter is before the Supreme Court. I don't know, the only thing that possibly could be gained by Peter Obi in all of this was attention. He wanted, it would seem to me, to get back on the front page. Well, to some extent, he has achieved that. But how ethical is it for a man who would be president to be compromising the Supreme Court? All these matters are before it. He even said it somewhere along the line in his question and answers that this wasn't about politics, the way he put it. He said this wasn't about politics, this wasn't about education. I think it's about ethics, the very ethics that I'm talking about. So I don't know I don't know, it was very, very confusing. And then he was behind, he had behind him a backdrop of let's take back Nigeria. Didn't somebody tell Peter Obi that the election is over and that we have a president in place?
Yori, you see, again, that is their level of understanding of the dynamics of politics. They tend to think that if it is not them, then it should be nobody. That is the characteristics of bad losers, sore losers, who think they should be given the opportunity, on a blank slate, to be president of Nigeria. Nigerians, 8.7 million Nigerians voted for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That has been fully, that has been fully underscored by the tribunal. Now, you say you were not satisfied. You have raised 50 grounds of appeal. You've gone to the Supreme Court and all that. The honest and transparent and distinguished thing to do is for you to wait on the Supreme Court of the land to act on your grounds of appeal. Whipping up unnecessary sentiments that don't add up will not help your case. I was happy the other time when the Chief Justice of Nigeria was talking to the newly sworn in 23 judges, where he said that don't allow public opinion and media trial inform the sanctity of the verdict you give at every point in time. You see, they will hold meetings, they've set up committees of media, they've talked and said, okay, let us hype the media, let us hype these issues in the media, let's carry out a media blitz, let's scandalize the president, let's blackmail him and all that to generate the atmosphere to help the Supreme Court. But the issues we are putting before the Supreme Court, they are issues that have been attended by the tribunal, for which a very sound judgment was given. So, if you believe in the sanctity of the judicial process, of the justice system in this country, you allow the Supreme Court to act on all of those issues. You don't preempt them. You don't give them a guide. You don't give them a lead into what you think you desire. At any rate, Peter Obi came third in this last election. I told somebody, I said, dash him 1 million votes. He has not gotten there. Dash him 1.5 million votes. He has not gotten there. Dash him 6 states and tell him he got 300,000 in 6 states, 1.8 million votes. He has not gotten there. So where is this whole noise about? I won the election. I know what to prove and all of that. Where is it coming from? We were all participants. We were partakers in this whole process from our different polling units to a ward level, our local government level, and all of that. We saw what transpired. And I keep telling people, an election that 7 sitting governors could lose senatorial elections is, for me, the best election we have conducted in this country. You may, the posters, those people who were doing predictions were the ones who are putting Peter Obi in this kind of lockdown. Because they already gave him victory even before the elections were commenced. So for me, I think people who are reasonable, who are rational, should call Peter Obi to order and tell him that he should allow the Supreme Court to dispense with this issue once and for all. If you are even talking about certificate this, certificate that, we've seen reports the one conducted by the BBC, and you know, is quite detailed, very enriching, and that is a typical way of doing investigative journalism. You know, devoid of sentiments and parochialism. And so for me, when I read that report, I said, yes, this is exactly how to do journalistic, you know, justice to an issue that's at play. So if they don't, meanwhile, they saw how authentic that report was, they now started putting it as a fake news.
Yes.
As if some of us are not, as if some of us are not following.
Yeah, they now started tearing the BBC with its fact-checking. They started tearing that to bits. And when I say they, if you look at the comments, I mean, if there were 1,000 comments in there, over 900 of them were coming from Obi supporters who just did not want to believe or accept that what a detached purview of the landscape in the light of all the CSU documentation that Atiku Abubakar had, you know, received. They just were not happy because, as you had said earlier, it didn't go their way, and so you see all sorts of comments, even going as far from the sublime to the ridiculous, saying that, aha, BBC itself has been settled. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine where we are?